Hello, YouTube world. Baghdaddy 1911A1 here with the Shade Tree Survivalist. Got a viewer who is about to go over the road, and he hasn't driven a tractor trailer in many years, and he's thinking about going to TMC because they do have a pretty damn good training program. I got to give them heads up, a credit on that, I should say. They did all right when I was driving for them because, I was off the road for over 3 years, and I had to go back. I had to go out with a trainer, even though, anyway, I'm not even going to go there. I don't want to insult anybody. First things first, young sir, whatever the truck is, it doesn't matter, especially with TMC. The operator's handbook, just like this one for this R series, the operator's handbook, they had them, all of them. They had one for the engine, they had one for the transmission, the radio, the truck as a whole. All that is in the right glove box, or the glove box, I should say. And it's just like in a car. It's on the right hand side, the passenger side of the truck. And I would definitely get this book out and study it. Okay. And the first thing you're going to do when you get in any truck, to look for the sticker. Sometimes it's on the dash. Sometimes it's on the little console where you put your cups at the bottom of the dash. Sometimes it is on the headliner, and sometimes it's on the sun visor. But look for your shift pattern sticker. Okay, your diagram like this here. And right off the bat, just go to the bottom right side, and you can find out real quick if it's an 8-speed, a 9-speed, 10-speed, whatever the case may be. Back in the 90s, the big rage was the Super 10, and it was one you had to split each and every single gear. You didn't go through all 5 and use your splitter to go high and then go back through all 5. No, you went through 1, went from low to high, 2, pre-select low, go up to 3, go up back to high, go to 4. Anyway, it was a pain in the ass. It's like having a 2-speed rear end or an 18-speed or a 15 or a 13 on the high side. It was a pain in the damn neck. Okay, but it wasn't that bad. You just had to really think about it when you first started shifting it, to remember that you had to split every single gear before you moved the gear shifter, and then you had to pre-select before you moved the gear shifter anyway. But anywho, you'll find this chart. Plus, they always give you a description of how to shift it. Okay. And I know this is not the best, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm having to use my cell phone. I'm about to get ready to go to work, blah, blah, blah. But it'll give you an idea of how you need to shift it depending on the specific transmission you have. Because for over-the-road use, the lowest I've ever seen is about an 8, and then a 9, and then a 10. For Mack trucks, there was a 12. And Eaton and the Meritor and whoever else, there's a 13, a 15, and an 18. Now, 15s and 18s are deep reduction transmissions, and they're designed to haul really heavy loads over mountains and so forth, and you can split each of the high side and the low side again. But we're not going to go into all that. There are videos on here about that. So, that's what you're going to look for right off the bat when you get into the daggum truck. Find that damn chart. Okay? Now, here's my own little damn chart. And it basically lays out the same thing. It lays out basically the same thing up top, so we're not even going to waste your time on that. What we will show you is my little chart I got here. Now, this is something every truck driver should do, and many rarely ever do. And James Alford, one of my instructors in truck driving school, way back in '96, told me this and told us how to do this. And you can quickly memorize this chart, and pretty damn fast you can you know right where you need to be at as far as your gear, simply by looking at your speedometer and finding out how fast you are going. Okay, so now this is probably not exact, and the big deal is your rear differential. Your drive axles will have a massive say on how fast you're actually going to go in each of these gears. Okay, so if you got like 411 rear gear ratio, 1 probably is not going to equal 3 miles per hour. It might equal 2, and so forth down the line. So depending on what kind of differential you got and all that, it'll make a difference. But what you need to do is just make you a little chart on a small clipboard and attach it to your leg or the armrest or something. And when you have the opportunity to do so in an environment where there's not a lot of traffic, red lights and so forth, on the open interstate, in the middle of the night, whatever the case may be, early morning, is write 1 through 5, 6 through 10, and then run it to maximum RPMs that the engine will allow. Because all these new modern engines, like the Cummins, seems like the Cummins in that TMC Peterbilt would only go to 1,500 RPMs wide open on the low side. On the high side, it would mostly go to 1,700 RPMs maximum RPM, okay? And what you do is you rev it as high as it'll go in that gear, write down how many miles per hour you're moving. Second gear, same thing, maximum RPM, write down how fast the truck is moving. Third, fourth, fifth, all the way through 10th or 11th or 12th or 13th or 15th or 18th, whatever the case may be. Memorize this damn chart. When you first start driving a manual transmission in a heavy-duty truck, say to yourself, I am in first gear. When you shift, I am in second gear. Or just say, you put it in first and you mentally say first gear. When you shift to second, you say second gear. And so forth. And what will happen over pretty quick, your long-time muscle memory will develop to the point in that you don't have to think, okay, I need to be in fifth gear to do this. You just know. Okay, that's the point I'm at. I just know. I just know from the feel of the truck. I can feel how, listen and hear how the engine's doing, what it's doing. Is it lugging? Is it over revving? All these different things. You can hear it. You can see it. You can feel it in your hands and your feet and your ass. You just know. Okay? Now, another thing I need to point out, I've got this arrow here to remind me. When you're downshifting from the high side to the low side, you cannot be going faster than the maximum speed that fifth gear will pull out. What will happen is if you downshift and you split that from 6 to go down to 5th, when that synchronizer pops it in there and you get on the truck, the momentum of the truck is pushing. You know, the load, the truck's weight is pushing against that transmission because you're downshifting to slow down. If it's above that maximum speed there, when you lower it, you split it down to the low and come over here and you get it and it's above that 15 mile an hour, it will bust the synchronizer in the rear end of the transmission. And then all you will have is this, because that splitter gives you the low side of the transmission, not the high side. So if you blow that synchronizer, all you're going to have is 6 through 10 and the high side on reverse. That is it. Okay? Because these are the gear ratios of the transmission without that compound that gives you the low side. So whatever you do, when you go from the high side to the low side, don't split it before you have reached that critical maximum speed, whatever it happens to be. And like I said, these may not be absolutely accurate. It's pretty close, but it's not absolute. So make sure the truck is going slower than that before you go from the high side back to the low side. I mean, if you do it in the reverse order, you're not going fast enough. You're not going to be able to pull out 6th gear. You'll just have to downshift back to 5. And that ain't going to hurt nothing. It might choke you down, might even stall you out, but it ain't going to really hurt anything unless you get run over. But from the high side to the low side, you got to make damn sure you under that magic number. I blew out a transmission on my Freightliner, and I didn't know what it was until my mechanic told me. He said you split the gear and went to the low side before you were slow enough for it to take it, and that's what busted the damn synchronizer. That was an expensive freaking lesson. So I want to pass that on to you. Make sure when you're going from the high side back to the low side that you are at the critical, below that critical speed or at that critical speed. And you'll have to rev the engine high enough to get it down to go into that. But anywho, there you go. I hope this is some kind of helpful. But, you know, the thing about most of these transmissions, the manual shifts, is they're all a double H pattern, a modified H, however you want to look at it. They're, you know, you got your low side 1 through 5 plus reverse. And then you got your high side down here, 6 through 10, or whatever. And, you know, each transmission is different because you got a 9-speed. And in a 9-speed, what will happen is this first gear up here, and the camera's not even on it, the first gear will actually be low in a 9-speed most of the time. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you'd skip that because that's not really 1, it's low. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then over here this would be just low. So that's a 9-speed, 8-speed. This is low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some of them it's just reverse. I mean, they don't even, or they have reverse and they don't have that. I think that's how it goes. But anywho, that just depends on the transmission. You'll see it on that sticker. So look for the sticker. It's on the visor, it's on the headliner, it's on the dash. Somewhere you'll find the shift pattern sticker, and it'll tell you your gear pattern and your gear, the amount of gears you have. And it seems to me like all of TMC's, I always shifted to like a 10 because it'll shift that way, but it was a 9-speed. It's a 9-speed, really. But I just shifted to like a 10. I accidentally did it because I was used to my Mac for all them years. It was a 10-speed, and I just went from 5th over the 6th, and it went in. And I was like, wait a minute, this is 9-speed. But hell, it went in. I'll screw it. I kept it, and I just kept on hammering away at it. Didn't hurt it, so I kept on doing it. But anywho, yeah, I hope this is helpful some way, shape, or form. But like I said, make yourself a chart. Find out how fast it'll go in each gear. Maximum RPM that the engine will allow. And make sure that critical maximum speed on 5th gear before you downshift, and you'll be all right. And pretty soon, you don't even have to worry about the chart. You'll just know. You will just know. I mean, you won't even think, well, I need to go from 9th to 7th because it's not going to put, you just know. You will know. And I'll tell you something else that helps me shifting. Think about it. Especially downshifting. Upshifting's easier than pissing. But downshifting, you're like, well, I need to go to 8th. While it's dragging the engine down, while it's still, you've got time. And you just, you know, your mind will automatically know, okay, I got to go from 9th down, over, back. Okay? And you'll visualize it. Boom. Okay? Or say, well, I know it's not going to pull out 8th gear. This thing is dragging down so fast, and so you're going to make a damn U-turn. You're going to just loop it right around into 7th. Okay? So visualize before you do what you're about to do. And it'll just snap right in there. I mean, it's not that hard, and you won't choke the engine down. You won't stall the truck out. Because that's a scary thing, and it's nerve-wracking as hell if you stall the damn truck out and you got traffic backed up a mile behind you or a big truck behind you bitching on the damn radio. Just, you know, just mute the bastard, shut him up, block him out, whatever the case may be. But one more time, get the operator's manual. Use the operator's manual. They make it for a freaking reason. And, you know, don't get into the habit of thinking you're God's gift to trucks because, you know, you have to learn. And one of the best tools you're going to find is Operator's Handbook. And why in the hell Mac and Freightliner and Kenworth and Peterbilt and the rest of them don't put YouTube videos up on professional quality videos showing you how to shift these things and all these different kinds of things that they cover in the Operator's Handbook. I think it will be, in a lot of ways, visually seeing somebody do it would help a lot. But have it slowed down so that you're not super fast speed shifting like I do sometimes. And, you know, I can shift so fast sometimes from low side to the high side, from 5th gear back to 6th, that the damn splitter can't catch it. And I have to pause for a minute for it to catch it. And you'll hear it clunk in the gear. But anywho, enough of that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this is helpful. You guys take care. This is Mac Daddy 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalist. About to get ready to go to work myself. Y'all be good.